You know, that could be part of the thought process for Team 1 picking this, Des. The fact that they've literally watched Soniqs play it a few hours ago. And they've just thought, yep, absolutely. We know what they're likely to bring. We know what they're likely to do. You know, whether that is what the Soniqs repeat or whether they come out and just do something completely and utterly unexpected, time will tell. But, you know, it could certainly be part of the thought process for Team 1.
All right, bans to kick things off. I'll actually get up my little tab here as well so we can look at what the bans were from the game earlier on. Soniqs banned away Thatcher, BDS banned Ash Jaeger because they're being sneaky little devils and hiding away all the bans they've got. And Soniqs' final ban was the Kai because why would you want to leave it on side and have it be a little bit of a troublemaker without the Thatcher on side to remove it? You ain't going to be the pick coming out of Team 1. You are going to see more serious bans coming out of them. I'm pretty sure we did see the Soniqs trying to make use of this earlier on to the stage that Rafal brought along the Warden. Valkyrie finally going to go away. Now I imagine the final ban here from the Soniqs will be that Kaid.
More than likely. Thatcher, Ying, Valkyrie and Kaid going by the wayside. They will not be available for the entirety of this matchup between Team 1 and the Soniqs. So just a reminder for anybody joining us, anybody who's maybe not just seen the little pre-show, Team 1 need a full 3 points. Simple as that. Nothing else will do. And it is only the first step in the journey for them. They need the full 3 points. Then they need a full 3 points against Cyclops. And they also need to worry about the scores. So basically, the quicker and bigger they can win, the better.
Hopefully it's a big win for the boys. Otherwise, I know I'm going to have you and Jackie coming to me, crying on my shoulder, saying, another LATAM team didn't make it, Des. And I don't want that, mate. No one wants to end on a sour note. It's been a wicked 3 days for us on the B stream. We need to see some pomp coming out of these boys. Give us a special one. You saw Alamar giving a bit of smack to Yeti. It's what we love to see. And he's starting off with the Lion on side, something that quite a few teams have been rocking over the last few days. Not enough that it's at the stage where it's highly, oppressive, but still highly valuable to a team because that Gonzix is the secondary, just enough to tip him over the edge to being viable.
I mean, but genuinely, I don't mind who goes through out of this group. Team 1, Cyclops, it's a great story either way. That's the honest truth. What I want to see is just a good mix of the regions in those playoff stages. You know, the ideal would be 2 from each. I don't think that we're necessarily going to see that. There is still the possibility. BDS are already in there. Empire could join them, so we could still see. I mean, how beautiful would that be? A perfect mixture of 2 from each region going into the playoffs. You know, you really start showing how close the regions are becoming. But for me, I'm not biased here. I'd like to see Team 1 get the win simply because of the story for that last match. You know, Soniqs don't stand to gain anything from winning here. Whereas if Team 1 win, it all comes down to that Cyclops game. And I'm just thinking from a purely selfish perspective of we'll know how many rounds do they need to win by, what do Cyclops need to do. It's just going to be absolutely riveting, and I don't want to miss out on that.
It's the dream thing that we come here for. The dream theatre for Team 1 is what Villa is going to be renamed for the entirety of potentially the next 15 rounds. Although I guess once the point it gets past the 12th round, it's no longer a dream factory, but more a grim reminder of what could have been. Grenade coming singing towards the back. Gets the shield and the ADS that was protecting this corner for Rexen. Now unprotected, has to use more of the scenery around in the pillars of the building of Villa itself. We've also got Neskin here, sat on a little alternative angle, playing out, trying to watch for the rotates coming through. I feel he might have just missed a man crossing there between the sites as he came out of Vault and moved deeper inside of gaming. On the may come to Rue as the second one also makes the crossing. Takes a little shot here. Gryxr on the way through, but not enough to see him taken down. In fact, I think that might have been a team shot as well.
Kanzen just opening up a vertical angle there, just having a look down towards the bottom of the main stairs, see if he can catch anybody out if they do try to push up through the south side and try to make a move that way. But Yeti just moving down those red stairs, potentially thinking he hears something underneath. Had a little listen, but I couldn't hear anything. Rexen manages to find the opener onto Lagonis, and it's all going wrong for Team 1 already as Kanzen gets the kill onto Neskin as well. Alamau knows that there's one above him, just looking to challenge onto those main stairs. He's looking to try and find the shots onto Gryxr, but can't. And meanwhile, Kanzen comes down, finds the kill. KDS, Levy, it's all down to them. Levy goes by the back. Kanzen, big round, triple kill from him. It's up to KDS. He is 1v3, sends in the Gemini decoy to take out The laser gate sends in the nades. He's very unlikely to have any joy. Gone 6 takes out the bulletproof camera. Default camera gone. He's removing information, but they know exactly where he is. Look, all guns are pointed in his direction. Nade goes out to try and deal with Volt, but the shots, they're going to rain in any second. That's exactly what happens. This tracer's coming from every direction. It's Gryxr who manages to finish it off from the Vault, and that is Soniqs taking round 1 to the bank.
Teams are going to be so useful to trying to push inside of Aviator and getting gunned down from the many different cross angles being set up like that. Good first round from Soniqs and Kanzen. Again, I bigged him up in the game earlier on. Really impressed, actually, as the tournament has wore on with his performances. Everyone coming into this was like, oh, Rexen, Gryxr, the big two that you got to be excited about. But Kanzen consistently impressing, and I'm not saying that just because it's a triple kill coming out. But especially in the earlier games in this group stage, the ways that he'd be sitting there and cutting off rotates or just catching individual members off guard was really, really well played from him. Lots of promise in him, as well as Rexen and Gryxr, the ones that people have been talking about for the Soniqs, and the ones that rightly so a lot of fans have been excited to see perform well.
You're right, we've been spending plenty of time shouting Kanzen's name, and he's definitely one to keep an eye on. He's got big moments in him, plenty of kills, and is an exciting player to watch. As I say, I've enjoyed watching the Soniqs, and generally the brand of siege that they bring in, it is exciting to watch. They will get aggressive, they will go for kills, and it's a lot of fun. So we'll see if they can keep winning rounds here. They are certainly here to play. 1-0 on the defense, and the thing is, there's every single round that goes in for the Soniqs. There will be a big celebration wherever the Cyclops team are watching this. You can guarantee it. Every single one is going to receive a cheer from them, because every single one is one closer to seeing them in the playoffs. It's also just making it easier. Should Team 1 get the victory, the tighter that victory is, the better it is for Cyclops. It means the fewer rounds they need to win to secure the position.
One of these looking at it now, where I think for the Soniqs, that one round, as you mentioned, side of Cyclops are going to be cheering something spectacular. However, looking at how things are shaped up for Team 1, it hasn't been bad throughout the tournament. Like I keep on saying, I don't want to say it's over just yet, especially when there's a double kill raining in from Kanzen. A quick update, by the way, is there are other important games going on right now on the A stream. Invictus versus Empire. The winner of that game, I'm pretty sure if Empire win decisively, at least, will be the ones walking through as the winner. They are currently 5-1 up on Clubhouse, and they've just finished their attack in half. In comes Alamau onto Kanzen, the man of the hour I was celebrating earlier on.
Super just moving around Astro with Sinim playing there repeatedly on the smoke. It is the usual position. Takes a little dip down, finds the kill onto Alamau as he does so. It was great reactions from Super. Now then, we've got a kill going in either direction. It's a direct trade as Rexen and Neskin take each other down. Lagonis is looking to push in and deal with Super behind the shield. Out comes the peak. Down goes some damage. They're continually getting chipped at here, Lagonis. He doesn't have an option of egress at the minute. He needs to just wait for that smoke to dissipate before he can push back through and try to take an alternate angle. He's just getting absolutely locked down in the bathroom here as the Toxic Babe canisters continue to fly. Challenging onto the deployable shields, not going to be easy, and in a 1v3 he decides to dip away and try to find kills elsewhere, but I don't think he knows about the man that is waiting hard right. He sees him, can't get a kill, misses the shots, and Gryxr comes out and finishes things off for Soniqs, and it's going from bad to worse for Team 1 right now.
Oh boy, I mean, that's 2 on the bounce. I mean, tell me, Tim, I know you got the wonders of wizardry in the spreadsheet. Talk to me about the potential outcomes, because I know that we were saying if this gets to, like, say a 7-5 in favor of Team 1, what needs to happen in that last game? Because with how it's going, Soniqs are starting strong, and I'm worried that, one, they might not even get over the finish line, but if they do, being at a 7-5 is like the worst case scenario for Team 1.
Okay, let's have a look then. So basically, let's say we are 2-0 up for the Soniqs. So let's say Team 1 just run it back in from here and it's 7-2. That's now the best case scenario that Team 1 can find, okay? So going into the game again, Cyclops, they'll have a 48.21% win rate when looking at the rounds. Going into it at the minute, Cyclops have 54%. So basically, to keep it nice and simple for you, Cyclops, if they won 3 rounds, no, Cyclops would need to win 4 rounds at the moment to guarantee it. So if Team 1 wins 7-2 here, Cyclops don't need to win the game, they just need to get 4 rounds. Because if Team 1 win and they tie it up, it comes down to round win percentage, and 4 would be sufficient to give Cyclops the higher win percentage on rounds. As Sonics get more rounds, that value will come down, and Cyclops will need fewer and fewer rounds.
Basically, squeaky bum time if you're on Team 1's team.
It is.
Team 1 side. Time to get a move on is all I can describe it as. Living in Library, the next site we're stepping into, then similar sort of setup coming out of the side of Team 1 with that Lion still carrying in across the rounds. Ever-present Mute and Mozzie, that goddamn Mute Mozzie, still turning up for the side of Sonics here. Has been carried in throughout the day for a good number of teams. In fact, over the last 3 days in general, I'd argue it's probably the, if not one of, most popular combinations that we've seen coming out.
Still no opening kill yet. We're nearly a minute into the round. Team 1 looking to get themselves into the master closet. In goes Levy, looking to join his teammates. They're looking for top floor control here. They are pushing on to a downstairs site. It's going to be living room and library for them to attack in round 3. So really, 90 corridor and the games room, they're the important areas. Vault as well, that's where your vertical angles are going to come from. But to be fair, we haven't seen vertical angles used too much by the attackers on this site. It does tend to be the defenders that want to try and hold them down and just prevent people moving into corridors and key positions with them.
It builds up into the minute-half mark. Things shaping up. Drone work coming in from Team 1. Once again, want to get a sniff of what's going on around the site. Saw how it played out previously. Well, not really around the site, sorry, more around the top floor because the assault into vault is what they're looking for here. Mirror window shattered out. Wasn't really of much use because no one was playing inside a study, but can't hurt to have that one open up to catch any cheeky rotates that might come through in a little while. C4 coming in from Gryxr to help out with the first, and I coming in onto Levy. Again, Sonics continuing on well. Another opening kill coming in.
Alamo is going to level that away with a kill onto Rexen. 4 versus 4. That is not ideal for KDS, though, as the nade bounces back at him. Out comes the Nitro. Unsuccessful, but Kanzen using the Vector to find himself a double. Absolutely ripping through them. Make that 3. Can he find 4? Alamo gets 1. Switches over. He's looking to find his kill. He knows that the man's going to move through the rotate potentially, but the shotgun will not serve him well. Alamo managing to find Kanzen, but not before he got 3. Alamo, not low health, but certainly not full. Looking to drop down to that lower level and push directly onto site now. He's got 2 kills to find.
3K trades back and forth. He goes, Kanzen, I see you. I'll raise you a 4 potentially because he's got it all to do, as you say, by himself. I mentioned about how concerned I was that it might be a bit of a one-man team, but even he can't do it all for himself. Gryxr taking the closing kill. Sonics have got 3 rounds, Ace. They're 3 away from blocking Team 1 from the possibility of progressing here at Mexico.
And it's getting closer and closer, isn't it? At this point in time, that brings down the threshold for Cyclops. The best Team 1 can do is 7-3. If they achieve that, Cyclops now only need 3 rounds. It's getting easier and easier for Cyclops, and that's why I say they are going to be cheering every single one of these rounds that Sonics puts on the board.
I've got a replay to show you as well, from what I hear here as well. A replay of the nade bounce coming through, which we'll take a look at just now. It's one that came in from KDS, straight the way through. Unfortunate bounce back off the wall, as you saw. Gets it open regardless. The man behind the bar itself, Yeti, doesn't find himself going down, but sometimes it comes down to those very, very specific angles that don't always go your way, Tim.
And that's it. You feel like if they're not going to be going Team 1's way, it's probably not going to be their day. They're already 3 down on the defense. Sonics are just looking good at the minute. They're looking like they could go 4-2, 5-1. And that's catastrophic for Team 1 is the best way that I can put it. You know, do I think Sonics aren't going to find a single attack? No, I don't. I think they will find some. And if they've got 5 defensive rounds, they need 1 attack. That's it. And Team 1 are done. The amount of pressure that will be on the LATAM team's side at that point in time is massive. And right now, Cyclops, they're going to be sat there watching this, and they've got to be pretty happy with what they are seeing.
Again, that fan club for Super right now, they're about to name him some kind of like president of the club if this carries on. It was only formed about 15 minutes ago. They will end up lasting for eternity as Cyclops go on and perform some magic here at Mexico. So we'll see first and foremost, because there's been a couple of changes coming in for Team 1. The Jackal coming in for Lagonis, Levy stepping across to playing on the Amaru. Neskin opening up on the downstairs here, working his way in. Might be a crouch straight up side of red stairs. Hoping to catch someone unawares. There is someone lurking towards the top, but I think he's hoping for someone to come rotating up from Art potentially to get the close down there.
I feel like at the minute, potentially for Team 1, that, and I don't want to be overly critical, it just feels like maybe they know this is the last roll of the dice. You know, they're trying to do something unpredictable now. They've got the Amaru on side. They've got Lagonis on the Jackal. They're struggling to deal with the Roamers, but it's just not going to matter as Yeti manages to find Levy. It's traded out immediately by Neskin, but it's still that war of attrition, and the attrition continues as Gryxr finds KDS with a headshot inside a sight. Alemi looking to make a challenge down onto 90 corridor. The Jaeger steps out. Will wish he hadn't as Rexen gets downed and finished off by Alamo. And that leaves us now 3 versus 3, but these battles just come in so early in the round. Out goes the Nitro. Won't reach quite far enough to do any damage to Lagonis, but at the halfway mark, Team 1 take a little bit of a pause. Lagonis looking for that challenge onto Super, and it didn't work out too well last time.
He's too worried about Super coming up behind him here instead of when he goes to the plant. I don't think there's anyone able to cover him at this point. Alamal's focused entirely on what's going on 90. So for the rest of the team of Sonics, it's a case of just sitting here and waiting for them to make a move and having a response. There are no more C4s, but there is one more smoke canister. That is enough to stop the plant. And don't forget, Tim, all this was kicking off as we hit about the 1 minute mark into the round. There's still 70 seconds to play with.
Alamo drops underneath. I'm just wondering if he's going to look to come and potentially challenge onto Super on the shield. He's going to go to the window that will just provide a little bit of support. It means that Super can't move in there, so Lagonis has the opportunity now to get moving. It's like the freeze is just taken off the game, and here comes the challengers. Neskin finds the head of Gryxr. Can he find a second out of the vault? Absolutely not. That is a big kill. Lagonis still alive though and gets the diffuser down and then manages to rip the head off Kanzen. 2 versus 1. It's all down to Super. He is full health, but he's got 2 to find. He knows that 1. He knows Lagonis is playing behind the map's desk, but he doesn't account for Alamo on the window who can take him down.
I think on our other stream, by the way, just as a heads up, Empire may have gone on to beat IG decisively 7-1, I think the final scoreline, which will mean they go through. We don't have that crazy world scenario that we were talking about of all 3 APAC teams that turned up going through to the playoffs. In this instance, it's going to be just the 2, and the second one isn't yet fully locked in, but is looking ever more likely. 3-1 to the Sonics, a good start on Villa for the defense, but finally, Team 1 have broken that defense open. They found the answer. It was a little bit scrappy, a good couple of kills coming in once they were inside of the site. Now the question is, can they repeat that stepping into other sites around the map?
Well, with that news reaching us, it certainly is looking like a possibility, Des, that we could have 2 from each region. We could have very even representation in the playoff stages, and I tell you what, that is absolutely mouth-watering. It is tantalising to think that we're going to have multiple teams for each region in that knockout phase. So far, we've got Empire and BDS representing Europe. We've got Liquid and Furia representing LATAM. We've got SSG, and we've got... Who else have we got for North America?
10 seconds to go.
We've got SSG and
Dark Zero. There we go.
Dark Zero, that's
it's
the
been
one.
a busy day. It's been a busy 3 days. You've got to forgive me. Dark Zero joining SSG earlier, and now we've got Cyclops potentially going to be joining Damwon Kia, and that is going to be a stacked playoff lineup if that's how it finishes.
Oh, okay. That's if this one still plays out that way. Of course, we don't yet know the full outcome of this group. Does mean that Group D is all wrapped up. The Group of Death didn't turn out to be so deathly. I mean, for TSM, like I said earlier on, maybe it is the Group of Death as they're the ones who have walked away the loser. But Group C was the one that stacked up as quite a hard one for us, and A is looking to be even spicier, with Cyclops potentially causing what many would call an upset coming into the competition. Now in a spot where they are on the brink of being able to get through, but for Team 1, again, it's still their chance to fight back. Stacking out towards the east here, maybe starting to think about getting themselves inside a Master. Rexen off on the roam, same story for Gryxr and Alamau. Doing the sort of thing that normally you would see an Iana do here, playing off by himself down to the south side, I imagine, with the intent of pushing his way through and being the one that causes himself to be a bit of a thorn in the side of the defenders.
1 minute in and no entry kill to be found for either side yet. KDS pushing in underneath. Very unsure about that hatch being open. He's actually going to move back to the exterior of the map and look for ingress at another point. It's Neskin instead who starts moving into Memorial and looking to clear out underneath. But by the looks of it, at least the majority of the Sonics are playing up on the top floor at the moment.
Fairly so. So you want to get things off here, maybe have one on the downstairs, but I think that changed away pretty quickly. It was just Rexen who was holding down there for the longest of times. Yeti, I think, is aware of what's Alamau trying to do, but Alamau's been sat on this drone now for about 90 seconds or so, I'd wager. The vast majority of this round, he's got himself on the south balcony, and outside of that, just sat here on the flank watch, waiting to see if anyone gets a little bit cheeky, and he's got the right sort of idea. Drone's been seen, and Yeti now must have the knowledge of, okay, then, now I know that someone's playing on the south side, otherwise, why would they have a drone this far down south? Start rotating himself back towards site here as we enter the final 60 seconds.
Levy just breaking out the window. He's going to rappel on in, just trying to join his teammates inside of the map. KDS going into the Gemini decoy there, trying to just again gain any information that he can. Levy knowing that there's likely somebody playing inside of Astro, so just breaches the floor underneath, forces Super out. He, in turn, just drops down the Toxic Babe canister just to prevent a push coming in from Bathroom, but Kanzen will be downed at this time. He's not going to be finished off just yet, but he's unlikely to be collected. Out goes a nade there. Super still playing tight on these stairs. Tries to find one, finds none as KDS gets in and gets the kill, but Rexen finds Alamau at exactly the same time. 4 versus 3 though as the kills rain in. Gryxr gets Lagonis and Gryxr gets KDS. 2v2. He knows he's going to be challenged again. He's got Diffuser at his feet. He can keep this area locked down, but no, he allows Neskin to get in and pick it up. That could be a bit of a mistake. Neskin goes to get the Diffuser down on the ground. Gryxr is all alone. The cover's in place, but he finds the man, and the time has ticked by, and 2 more rounds to guarantee overtime and to dump Team 1 out of the competition. They've got 1 more game left to play against Cyclops, but they need the full 3 here to be able to compete for the playoff spot. And the Sonics, they just, honestly, Des, they're looking like a different team than the one we saw last time around on Villa.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's a bit of a transformation for what we saw against BDS, which is the game you were referring to from earlier on today. Admittedly, they were against BDS, which, as we know now, is quite a tough challenge for any team. That game at the very start of the day, BDS versus Cyclops, was a phenomenal game on Cafe. If you are just tuning in across from the A stream, I'm aware, of course, the game there has just rounded up, then, hey, welcome. If you are looking for a game to watch back later on today, fully recommend that BDS versus Cyclops one at the very start of the day. Right now, of course, we are watching the other 2 teams showdown. And as a recap on the storyline, Team 1 need to win in regulation to keep the dream alive. They are 6 points behind the 2 teams in 1st and 2nd place. That is BDS and Cyclops. Overtime, simply not allowed. But Sonics, my God, are they making it hard for them right now?
They are. They're really putting them to the wall at the minute and just really turning the screw, making it very difficult for Team 1 to find any room inside of the map, find any kills whatsoever. Lagonis straight up onto that south balcony. Rappel opens the door into Study. It's going to be the final defense for Sonics this time around, and it's going to be Aviator Games. We have seen Team 1 successfully attack this site only once though. They managed to get the Diffuser down. Lagonis able to plant in behind the maps table, but it was a close run thing. There was an opportunity. It was 1v2 come the end for Super, but he just couldn't get in and make the challenge onto Lagonis to get himself started, as Alamau had him held from the Study window. Now, the vertical nade's not going to do any damage for the time being. This main stairs has been a sticking point previously for Team 1, and we've got a man once again up at the top.
Here we go. This is such a common contestation point of this map. Main stairs being burnt out by a frag grenade. We've seen teams like Joe on Invictus Gaming actually running down the stairs to challenge once it all kicked off. We've seen teams like Team Liquid belting it back up. Not Liquid. It was a team from LATAM. I have no idea which one it was, but one of them were pelting it back up. In fact, it was Moringa charging with all the way back upstairs once he was getting threatened. So a few variants on the defense. The Sonics here, a much more defensive one where Super was positioned at the top of the main stairs behind the shield and just saying, look, you want to force your way up, that's cool, but you need to nade out the square shield first. And here we are. Team 1 now have the control they need to start threatening inside of the Study, or working their way up 90. Alamau with a great kill from below onto Kanzen, who's had it rough for a couple of rounds in a row now, Tim.
He has. He came out with such a strong start, but then gone a little bit quiet. Still not a terrible performance so far. 7-4 over 6 rounds. He's certainly made his contribution, but Gryxr is the man that you're looking towards at the minute. He's going really, really well. 9-1. He's the one that you really need to put down. Rexen manages to get the kill onto KDS. Finds him with a hot headshot and levels things up at 4 versus 4 here. Yeti looking to aggress back up those main stairs, but completely caught out by Alamau, who shuts him down and moves up there himself. Levy onto Rexen, and it's all falling apart for the Sonics here on this defense as Alamau finds another. Lagonis with the last. Team 1 keep themselves fighting. They get another round. And that is going to be something that Team 1 are going to be banking on here. And I know that Cyclops fans and Cyclops players watching this are going to be hoping that that is not the case. They are going to be willing the Sonics on to get a couple of attacks at least. That is all that is needed to secure the APAC team's position in the playoffs. If Sonics hit 6 rounds, then the dream is done. It's over for Team 1. But they are not going to believe that that could even be a possibility until it happens. They're not going to entertain the thought. They're going to try and turn dining and kitchen into an absolute fortress here. And Alamo's heading down to the basement. As we say, usually used as a bit of a transitional area more than anything. There's no soft floors to be able to challenge with that nitro. We've got Lagonis on the pulse as well. Quite a common pick for dining and kitchen. We see it used quite often because you're going to get the Sonics probably trying to get vertical superiority up above them in Bathroom and Astro. But you're also having the potential of Lagonis just dipping down to the basement and looking to feed information on anybody pushing through the ground floor.
I think it's more on the anticipation that he could pop up seemingly anywhere. Now, I can't really imagine you're going to see any of those pests going down into that basement that we spoke about earlier on. Leslie Wonder, by the way, we had a conversation earlier on, me and Ace, about the callouts that you might find in basement and how we clearly know all of them. The one that you have to know that covers everything is quite simply just basement. Doesn't get any more complex than that. As Bandit bailed out on the downstairs has now been wonderfully shown by medics. If you can name 3 callouts down here, you get a nice big red tick from me as he screams to me in my ear. There are a lot of red carpets. You are right, and that's probably about as far as we can go with that one, medics.
Sonics still outside of the building, and Lagonis just feeding information in. He's going to know that Kanzen is into Closet now, for example. That's all going to be coming into Neskin, who's playing inside of Astro, but he's going to be challenged from the window by Yeti, who just dips himself away. Probably doesn't know which operator it is necessarily that's challenging him from Astro, and it is a common one to see nitros thrown onto that window, trying to catch anybody on the rappel. So doing quite the right thing to dip himself away and just keep his distance there so he doesn't get caught out by the explosives whilst he's droning. Kanzen, he's got the nade in hand. He's going to look to clear out this shield and just make Neskin stay a little bit more difficult. And Neskin, quite rightly, has to dip away from that one. He's not going to give his life up too easily. He's still going to stay and try to have his teammates back. KDS challenging onto Master. A little bit of support coming in as well. And Team 1 really going heavy on this top floor hold.
Jeez, they are. They've dropped coming down through the middle as well. Yeah, I was going to say, just then as you say it, dropped away pretty much immediately. So, this is the kind of moment here where Sonics will be focusing on trying to chase down ghosts that have already left the top floor. Any hot drone work that might yet be to come out of the side of the Sonics would reveal that that has been gone and sorted. However, they've only got a couple of drones remaining. Kanzen on one of them. And in fact, Super had one. That's also gone. So realistically, for this last 60 seconds or so, Sonics are going in blind.
We're going to have to go in and find kills the hard way inside of the ADS, as KDS is going to hold on to that rotate for as long as possible. 35 seconds left to go. He's just waiting for that sound cue. Starts to creep forward himself. Yeti's holding down an angle, but the attackers can't do this forever. They need to get moving. They need to think about how they're getting onto site and where the diffuser's going to go down, and they fall foul. But Kanzen with a great trade there. He's been a bit quiet for the last couple of rounds, but he steps up when his team needs him and keeps us at a 4v4. Alemo manages to find the kill onto Rexen though, and that is now a big advantage as Lagonis doubles down with one onto Gryxr. This one's fallen apart for the Sonics. It's 7 seconds left to go. Very unlikely that a diffuser goes down. Out comes the nitro from a run out, but it's going to be
essentially from the top of Cool Vibes on Coastline. You could blast a Goyo shield that is basically right at the very far back of bar. It looks like you just whacked out like a Spartan laser and just blasted that cannon to high heavens, or the shield, sorry, from high heavens all the way across the map. It's going to be pretty magical seeing our teams make good use of that one here in this round. The mirror on side as well for Levy. Imagine you're going to see those mirror windows pointed in towards study.
Would be the usual setup, at least in some way, shape or form. You've got the soft wall off to one side, which is going to allow the challenge from Vault, and as you say, the mirror window may be placed there just to allow a little bit more visibility, but at the minute we've got the mirror off towards Master Closet, so we could well see a little bit of utility over that side as well. Levy has moved back now. I'm not seeing a mirror window anywhere over this side, so I don't think one has been positioned there, as you say. I think being saved for study. Yeah, he's certainly, yeah, you're absolutely right. He's moved back over to, oh no, he's back.
There
he's
they are.
Absolutely all over the place, is Levy. I can't keep track of him.
Man's one of those. What can I say? That should come back down the south side now. You will see him rotate back down and drop that in. Easy peasy.
20 seconds into the round before that final utility is deployed, but it's okay. Sonics won't be able to move in quite so quickly, so nobody's going to get caught out there. That's absolutely fine. A lot of rotations, a lot of lines of sight, a lot of renovation done inside the Aviator Games site, and now it's time for Team 1 to try and hold on to it. They were pretty mobile, or at least a couple of the players were pretty mobile last time around. We had Neskin up on the top floor, we had Alamo absolutely everywhere, to be fair, and as you can see, there's a few players over on that northern side, but right now, Sonics, they're stacking up for a push towards the main stairs.
Just managed to get these 2 discs out. Want to go and practice his frisbee rather than his ping pong in his spare time, but in comes the push up. That is indeed going to be the Gemini, and Alamar's like, you know what? Being concussed don't sound so fun. Get me out of here. Works his way back up the top of the stairs. The smoke coming down to help support him on that retreat up. Very usual thing that we spoke about like in the prior round, where the focus is always on those main stairs, getting control of them and working your way upwards from there.
Rexen looking to use those vertical angles, and as Team 1 come across to try and check the bottom of main stairs, there will be a little exchange, but it is those that come out superior. Team 1 with the height advantage, finding a few shots onto Rexen and just taking a little bit of chip damage away from him. Kanzen opening up the hatch, just trying to see if he can get a view onto anybody in study, and he's just going to challenge that same angle again, and they're getting right up into the face of Alamo now. KDS is there in support of him as well, but Alamo gets shut down by Kanzen, and here comes the rush. Kanzen tries to push on, but KDS doubles down, finds another. Gryxr manages to get the kill, but it's 3 versus 2 for Team 1. 1 minute left to go, and we just have an absolute slaughter in the mid-round.
The murder of main stairs, you can probably call that one, Tim. Everyone just piling their way up, looking for trades. Bodies are falling left, right, and center. Here with the 2 versus 3 on the go again, you start thinking for Sonics, it feels like this is not going to be the kind of round they can walk away the victor in, unless there's some magic they can deliver, because there are no smokes left, but there are 2 C4s on the side of Team 1. They have got plant or not if they need it. The Sonics really need to be stepping in here and winning a couple of gunfights, but I think they've still got the mirror window to contest this inside of game. That's why they're pushing here up towards 90, I imagine.
Gryxr gets taken down by Lagonis. 3 versus 1 now. Team 1 looking like they're about to secure another round and level things up at 4-4. It was 4-2 on there.
Let's see how round number 9 plays out, Tim. Whether or not Sonics could have used that time off to come up with a plan to get something on the board.
See if it is going to be trophy and statuary. That was the initial pick. It looks like it is going to be getting locked in. That's what they're going to be sticking with. Team 1 bringing along the Echo here. Always an interesting operator, one that we like to see, but not one that we see too often on Villa, Des.
Not an absolute ton, no, but we'll take it. See how just how effective it can shape up to be. Otherwise, it's the setup towards the north side on trophy and statuary. We keep mentioning about this being the kind of off-site the teams are stepping into more and more, with dining and kitchen being the more preferred step into for the most part. I'm wondering about the roam game that's going to come out of Team 1 as well. How far south down they're going to play here, whether it's going to be a hold like we saw out of a couple of other teams. I'll never forget Nesk and his 3K playing inside of Aviator and the tags that he got down onto the south door onto TSM. Even when it felt like TSM had barely even looked at the building and already were bleeding members.
Alamo just roaming round underneath. We've seen this from him a number of rounds now, getting out on the Mozzie. He's just going to be working in and around Piano. It's an area particularly popular with Julio from NIP as well. Likes to really patrol around there, gets a lot of nitro kills on the vertical, picks up those entry fraggers, but Alamo's going to keep himself more mobile than that. He's going to get himself off into the rest of the map and just try to create some surprises for the Sonics as they look to move inside.
Mentioned about that Echo earlier on as well, Tim. You are right. Isn't so much picked up anymore since the Yokai drones are, of course, visible. Have been for quite some time now. Back to when they used to be invisible back in the good old days. IQ often required to deal with that. And interestingly, I think despite those kind of changes coming in, some teams today have still picked up the IQ a good number of times. So it isn't just about the Echo and the Yokai, it's about other things. So look at that. Little plant pot on his head there, Alamo. He's got a drone sat in the plant pot right above him.
I don't think he's going to be picked up off that drone, but it could have been after we left the viewpoint. So Soniqs need to be careful, make sure that they are fully drawn in. They're going to spot KDS inside of Aviator, so he's going to dip out of there. In comes the Rotero drone to clear out utility. We've seen some great use of the Flores Rotero drones. We've seen everything from utility to moving defenders to opening up lines of sight. It's a really versatile gadget now that we've seen it in the hands of the pros, and it's always a fascinating one to watch. Halfway through the round, 1 minute 30 left to go, and no opening kills as of yet. Rexen picking up the footprints of KDS, but he's back in Astro now, somewhere that you would expect there to be a player anyway, so not really the best information from the Jackal track.
It's like trying to herd sheep with a sheepdog, just constantly trying to say, right, stay back in your pen, as long as you know where you are, no concerns at all. And indeed, most of these members on the defensive side are back in the site at this point. A couple looking to maybe rotate the way up, and look at that. On these cams, you're going to know what's going on here. Alamal's the one coming up for a flank. The challenge, oh my god, Alamal's just better! Finds 2 kills for himself and shuts down 2. Big round here, potentially coming in for Team 1. A plank coming in there for the Super on the north side while the focus is elsewhere. KDS going big from inside of Astro. Not challenged at the right time. Soniqs not pushing as a unit and paying the price for it. Kanzen left in a 1 versus 2. 40 seconds to play. I think we've seen this one before, Tim, and we know how it tends to play out.
Almost certainly. He's super low health as well. He's going to send the Rotero drone in, maybe just to gather some information and see what's going on, maybe trying to force these defenders out of the positions and into his line of sight, but he is less than a breath away from death. 1 graze of a bullet is going to be all this takes. The challenge is almost certainly going to come in as soon as he pops his head round to try and get this diffuser, because that's exactly what Team 1 are watching. Somehow he manages to pick it up. He's moving in towards the statue. First of all, he takes the challenge. He's going to move himself through into trophy. He might just get himself one. If he'd have popped his head round that door, he's going to try to stick the diffuser here, and he might get away with it. He's just switched up the plant spot. There it goes. He dips himself around. He gets one. No way, Des. Neskin manages to find him across the middle gap, and that could have been an unbelievable play from Kanzen, but Neskin will have all the time he needs to get that diffuser disabled. Team 1 take another, and that is now 4 in a row for them, and it brings them back to 5-4, and they are in the lead that they desperately need.
I say, mate, squeaky bum time when your player can clutch out in a 2 versus 1 or a 1 versus 2, gets the plant down and starts to progress forward from there. Close, but no cigar for the Soniqs. 4 rounds, maybe all that they find. It is or was looking a little bit closer because there's a bit of a kerfuffle down towards the south side around 90. This time round, Team 1. Look at that, by the way. Alamal at 13-6 at the top.
Absolutely unreal. This is what we said. We said we needed to see him step up. If they were going to get themselves through this and they were going to keep themselves fighting into the Cyclops game, we needed him to step up and do the job that we know that he's so capable of. And he really is doing. He's bringing everything here. He's not leaving anything out. He's roaming, he's flanking, he's finding the kills, and he is all so important to this Team 1 defense right now.
Okay, the Warden also being brought along here in anticipation of the smokes maybe coming out, or the Ying being 6 picked in. Various options that we're looking at there. Yokai's returning once again, and Alamal staying on that Mozzie, likely looking for a bit of a cheeky rotate away. In fact, yeah, the Warden was banned away. Is it not the Warden? Sorry, the Ying was banned away, so I wonder why on Levy's side he's brought it along here specifically. I remember, like Citizen said for a while, you know, we need something to play a shield. Warden's a little bit crap, therefore I wanted to play smoke with the FMG, and I was like, all right, seems pretty legit, and now everyone else is starting to do it. Clearly someone didn't give Levy the memo, though.
In comes the attack once again. The Soniqs so far unable to get a single round on the board, and Cyclops players must be sat biting their nails right now, just not able to take the tension. That's if they're able to even keep watching this. They will have been so happy to begin with, but it all feels like it's just heading in one direction, and that is the direction of Team 1 right now. Really, I think Cyclops would be happy even with Soniqs just getting one more round. Of course, if they can do the job for them, all the better. But for every round that the Soniqs get, it gives Cyclops a little bit more safety, because this could come down to the percentage of rounds won. We'll try to get that confirmation for you once we know the final score here as to exactly what the position is in that last matchup.
We've got a nice little 15-20 minute break between games, Tim. I'm sure we can sit down and get our heads together with the admins and figure out what's going to happen in the outcome of that next game, so we can come and give the fans a definitive scoreline that Cyclops need to better, because we'll be counting the rounds for them in the same way we've been kind of doing it for Sonics here, saying, oh no, it's 1, oh no, 2, 3, they're at 4. Disaster could strike. May not even be able to get there at all if Team 1 are that unfortunate, but time will tell. KDS playing on the top of main stairs here, knows he's going to find himself with a challenge or two coming through, given the focus is, of course, in living and library. They want to get them away from the top of these stairs. They can comfortably play on the bottom side. Otherwise, it is going to be swing city for KDS. Find the chance to take pot shots whenever he can at anyone trying to push inside a library on the south side.
All holding on the same door. Need to be careful because they don't want to be getting themselves shut down with a spray of bullets from one of those Team 1 guns. And we can see they've just spread out a little bit now. Much better. Kanzen's going to be moving in, looking to breach that soft wall, get a bit of access into sight. There's the yellow ping just letting him know somebody's there. Super's not messing about here, Des. He's getting that plant straight down, and this could be a big moment for the Sonics. He's going to be successful. 5 versus 5, and somehow they've got away with a plant. They've got away with every single life. This is not good for Team 1. We're potentially going to see 12 rounds here. They need at least 2 or 3 kills surely before they can think about disabling this diffuser. And with Echo on the board as well, there's the Yokai unable to impact on the plant. Rexen finds KDS in the post-plant hold. Neskin steps up. Alamo steps up. Gryxr and Super go down. Rexen with them. 4v2. There's 10 seconds left for Team 1 to do this. They need to start that disable process. Kanzen gets 1, gets 2. Alamo shuts him down on the trade. Goes straight on to try and get the disable on the diffuser, but it's Yeti who comes in with an unbelievable kill at the right moment for the Sonics, and that could be heartbreak for Team 1. This battle continues, and it's getting more and more difficult for the LATAM team to find their way into the playoffs.
Spicier and spicier, because Sonics, this is where it gets down to the punch moments now. A single round for Sonics. Yes, it won't guarantee them the game win, but it will guarantee overtime at the very least, and that is the disaster point for Team 1. There's no turning back then. They now need to get 2 rounds on the bounce if they want any hope at all of being able to go into that Cyclops game and having something to fight for.
It's going to be all to play for, Des. It's going to be... I just needed a breather for a second there because this is pushing me to the absolute edge. How many games have we seen on the Bravo stream come down to 12 rounds? How many have we seen go beyond that? And that is not something that Team 1 fans can stomach. I bet they were worried when they saw it on the Bravo stream, Des.
Oh, just a little bit, yeah. It's one of them where I think about it, though. That was the offside for Team 1. It was the awkward one to play. Here they get Aviator. They get Dining and Kitchen. They've got the choice of Trophy and Statue if they want it. I don't think they'll feel too nervy about it, because Sonics' attack onto those 2 sites previously was pretty poor, to be completely honest with you. Whereas Living Library, they managed to sneak away a cheeky attack, and I'll give them some credit. They did a really good job of one masking the sound with the Zofia concussions coming out. They had the flashbangs flying over, sorry, the frag grenades flying over as well. Enough to zone away the members of Team 1 so they couldn't come round and take some pot shots while the plant was going down. And by then, it was already too late. No Yokai is present, apparently, to do the damage that they needed to. It was really well played by Sonics and really well figured out where the weakness was in the Team 1 setup.
So even if Team 1 do win this out and go on to that Cyclops game, we've got to consider, as we said, the rounds that they have won and the percentage of rounds, particularly, that they have won along the way. I'm not going to overcomplicate it, but coming in, we said, basically Team 1 needed to win in as few rounds as possible. So without Team 1 losing this game, this is about as good as it gets for Cyclops now. If Team 1 are going to win it, winning 7-5 is like the worst that they could do in terms of what Cyclops needed. So that is perfect if you're a Cyclops fan, player, supporter, neutral, anybody who wants to see the APAC team making it through to the playoffs. Team 1, they're doing everything they can. They're not interested in the rounds won and lost right now. They're just interested in 3 points. That's what's important. They need to get these 2 next rounds. There are no more room for mistakes on the side of Team 1. KDS, he's getting aggressive, looking for that opening kill, trying to get something going on that study balcony where Rexen, he's underneath on the book, using that yellow ping information, trying to do exactly the same thing.
Always about the spot for KDS as well, consistently playing up here. Here they're actually doubling up as well, where you've got Alamal playing behind a shield on the stairs on the Wamai. So double the dosage, double the power playing on the main stairs to see what kind of contestation they can deliver. Surely the Sonics are aware this is where the push needs to come in. Hopefully we don't get another red wedding, another war over main stairs that ends in bloodshed on both sides. That was a little bit chaotic there, and you're relying a little bit too much on thriving in the chaos, I feel, for that to be a reliable setup.
Still no opening kill yet. We are 2 minutes into the round, and both teams just want to be a little bit cautious, I think, here. In comes the nade. That's going to be... No, the utility is not cleared out. The shield is still there. The ADS picks up the second. That is big for Team 1 in terms of this round. It's going to make main stairs very, very difficult to take. Alamau's going to keep himself locked in behind that shield, and he's just going to try to keep the Sonics out of there. There was a Selma device applied to the study wall, and we can see the Sonics just rotating quickly now, looking to get themselves up red stairs. Gryxr already on that side of the map. This is going to have to turn into a maps push. Yeti can hold a long angle through the hole in the wall of study to try and get something going, but the Selma device is jammed out. I think there's a mute jammer just in its way. It's not been cleared out by the buck, so this gets difficult. The kills start to come in. Yeti finds Alamau, but KDS finds Yeti in return as a trade. 12 seconds left to go. Super's getting the plant down once again. Are they aware? They are this time. Levy from the vault finds one. Levy from the vault does not find another, as it's Lagonis who manages to get that kill. Rexen has no choice. 0 seconds.
Powerful, it seems, for a number of teams as things progress. But I'm sat in a spot where I just think for Sonics, this is proof that on these sites that they aren't comfortable with, Living and Library being the only one so far, they're going to really struggle to take an attack in round win. And Team 1 might just save themselves by the skin of their own teeth by getting this over the finish line at 7 and 5.
Whew, talk about last ditch, talk about last gasp. This is the last throw of the dice for Team 1. They have to close this down. They're going for that ground floor site once again. It's going to be dining and kitchen this time. They are looking to close it down. Last time they were on the ground floor, it was, of course, down in library, where Super was able to get in and get the diffuser down on the ground. They can't have the same sort of outcome this time. Alamau, certainly one to watch. He's had a good game, 15 and 8. He's on the roam on the Mozzie once again and needs to find some kills for his team. Team 1 need a strong start here.
That's it, something very special. Not even just a strong start for Sonics, but I need to see something magic come out of them in this round, given what we've seen from them in the previous few. Taken one round in this whole half, whereas Team 1 have come back from the 2-round point to be at 6. They're 4-1 in the second half of the map and looking to end on 5-1 if things repeat themselves as they have done historically. Let's not forget, though, as well, that Team 1 did battle back and find themselves 2 rounds that we didn't necessarily think they'd get for a while, because Sonics, they kind of stonewalled them for a while. Very little they could do to fight back into it, Team 1, but they did find a way.
Gryxr on the drone. Going to be a red ping there, just giving away the position of at least one of the enemies, but you will lose the drone generally in return for those red pings, because it's just notifying the player that they are being spotted out. Lagonis just feeding information back in. He knows that there's a number of them inside the laundry there. Gryxr just looking to check, see if there's anybody playing hard on that corner, but there isn't. If there was, then as that Zofia nade went in, it would have detonated immediately. Levy, big kill to open things up onto Yeti. He overexposed himself on the door, I think, a little bit there. There was a nice long angle being held. Rexen, however, finds KDS, but is downed in the process. Kanzen looks like he's going to have the opportunity to pick him up, but they need to be careful because Alamau is below them, I think, from what I could see. Not going to be an opportunity for a Nitro, I don't think, in that position. I think it's a hard floor above him, but still, as soon as they try to move, if Alamau is aware of that, he could well catch them out inside a Master.
What worries me is already it started out rough. You had an Iana pushing through a doorway, and a man, I think, trying to air quotes trade an Iana Gemini. I kind of get it. If they're going to shoot the Iana Gemini first, then maybe you win the gunfight. But sadly, took the angle that got him sprayed as collateral alongside the Iana Gemini. Sure, it's a 4 versus 4. Sonics again have got themselves down to the 60-second mark. They can't get these walls open. They're still trying to do some work on the top floor, and their drone supply is slowly dwindling away from them, Ace. I'm worried for Sonics, but for Team 1, this has got to be feeling pretty good.
It's looking good right now, like you say. Rexen, very low health after being collected. Lagonis finds Gryxr. He's had a good game himself. Some important kills have come in from the support man of Team 1. He's on the pulse and low health, but still doing the business at the minute. Super looking to pressure onto the windows with the Iana, but right now it just doesn't feel like the Sonics have got a way in. But as I say, that Rexen, even on low health, manages to finally go on his take the pulse down and take the information with him, leveling things up. 3 versus 3, 20 seconds left to go. This is what it all comes down to. 3 days of intense play at the Mexico Major, and the fates of at least one of these teams is decided now. Sonics, they're already done, but Team 1, they can keep themselves fighting. Neskin gets the kill onto Kanzen. Super's getting the diffuser down, though I'm not sure if they're aware. Levy looks to challenge. It's successful, but he gets the kill as Alamau finds Rexen as well, and that's plenty of time to go in and disable the diffuser. And Team 1, with the last breath of the game, keep themselves fighting, keep their dream alive at the Mexico Major.
It means it all comes down to this, Ace. One last dance for Team 1 against Cyclops Athlete.